I like to think that becoming yourself is a lot like spring. It starts in the winter. Everything is bare, cold, still, a blank slate. Just like the beginning of your journey. There's no color yet, no signs of growth, but deep under the surface there's something waking up. Then slowly the snow melts, you see the ground again, and a little green peeks through. The air shifts. And eventually, the trees are full, the flowers bloom, and life feels alive again. That's self-improvement. That's becoming. There's a version of me that you've probably never met. A version that existed of me before I went to the gym, before my editing skills, and before I started building my personal brand. He was full of ambition, but paralyzed by doubt. He used to spend hours scrolling through Instagram, looking at creators who were living the life that he really wanted to. But he didn't feel ready. He didn't know where to start, and he didn't believe he was worthy of success. And yet, that version of me decided to make a decision. Not to have it all figured out, but to start anyway. And that decision started everything. I started with 0 clients, 0 viewers, and no reps in the gym that felt worthy. And most of all, I wasn't confident. But I was curious. I was curious to see what would happen if I just started. If I kept showing up when no one was watching. Most people wait until they're ready, but that day never comes. You either start now and are messy, or you never start at all. If you look back to around 2 years ago, and look at a couple of my first videos, you'll see that the editing and just the quality of the videos in general sucked. That's the case with all YouTubers starting out. You have no idea how to make videos good, but you start anyway. And looking back, I am so happy I started, and I'm so happy I made those crappy videos. I didn't know it at the time. I was sort of just doing it to do it, but I didn't know there was a version of me that in the future would be really good at all that sort of stuff. And my first SMMA client I ever got on a call with failed horribly because I didn't know what to say on the call. It was a Zoom call. I didn't know what to say on the call. And I was basically downplaying myself a lot, and I wasn't offering the services that I could at the time. I was offering a whole wide range of services that I wasn't even going to be able to provide, even though I was offering. And so I was on one Zoom call. I felt super proud of that, but of course he didn't end up signing me. I was young and naive, but I'm still so glad that I made the decision to start reaching out to clients and to start my YouTube journey and to start learning about becoming financially free. I think the hardest part of the journey is sort of the middle, the in-between. The part after you start, but before you start making any progress. You're grinding it out, you're doing the reps, you're trying to sign clients, but you're not seeing any results, and everything feels stuck. I've had moments where I put a lot into the gym and putting a lot into cold DMs, cold calls, and I've got nothing in return. I've trained alone, I've filmed alone, and I've edited alone. And people think I'm doing this for clout. They don't see you sitting back in your chair, working on something in a dark room, wondering whether or not you're wasting your youth chasing something that you can't explain. Because growth isn't a clean, Instagrammable journey. It's messy, it's lonely, and you burn out a lot. And you fall back in a lot of other areas of life. But this is where you grow. It's in the discomfort. I think I really reached a low this past winter because here where I live, it snows and it's gray a lot. And I'm sure some of you guys have seasonal depression, but here, and especially in my last year of high school, it is so real. I am really, really, really excited to leave, and I'm really happy that it's starting to become spring now. And as spring is coming, I am growing as well. I am getting better at making videos, and I feel like if you live in a place where it's really gray or snowy, you will kind of relate to this and sort of feel the need to leave. And I would say you should totally do that. And I feel like I really fell behind at the beginning of this year socially. I've sort of gotten back into that now. I've started hanging out with some friends, but at the beginning of the year, I was super focused and I was super stressed about my future and what I was going to do when I'm older. And I really fell behind socially, and I didn't really have anyone to talk to. And that was the really, really difficult part for me. I didn't have anyone that was as like-minded as I was, and I could go to for help or anything like that. I didn't pay for any mentorship communities or mentorship calls or accountability buddies. And as I started to get burnt out of that, I started to get lazy, and I started to not go to the gym, and I started to not make videos anymore. And that's where it turned from being productive and not having a social life to not being productive and then also not having a social life. And so I think that's where I really started to fall off of all my habits and where I was in a really, really deep rut. But I feel like that's taught me a lot about failure. That even though I look back at that time and I think that was a period of failure in my life, I have now learned from that, and I have learned to just become consistent, to hype yourself up, and to spend time with friends. As you start making your mind healthier, your work reflects that, and it becomes higher quality. And now I'm feeling that my life is sort of starting to shift. My mind is sharpening, and I don't second guess myself in front of a camera anymore. I don't post these videos with fear of anyone speaking badly about me anymore, and I walk into the gym feeling right at home now. That's what the art of becoming is. It's slow proof that shows that growth is real. You stop needing external validation because you start becoming someone that isn't looking for applause. And the more aligned you are with your future, the more powerful that your motivation comes, and the more powerful that you feel in general. And talking about my gym progress, I used to be super skinny, and I used to have no muscle whatsoever. And even though I'm still skinny, I'm starting to see a lot more muscle on my body. My arms used to be really skinny, and I used to not even have muscle really on my chest at all. And now that I've started to track my workouts and start to go semi-consistently doing cardio as well, I've started to see that my body is transforming and that it's becoming something that I can really admire whenever I look into a mirror. The first video that I posted that was real and didn't feel performative was a few videos ago. Let me pull it up right now. It was this is the sign to reset your life, and here's how to do it. I would recommend to everyone to go watch that, and it's a real look into sort of what I was going through and how I reset my life to better myself. But no one saw the days where I felt completely numb. The moments that I questioned everything that I was doing. I've lost people, I've let myself down, and I've had mornings where I couldn't even get out of bed. Becoming isn't about achieving success. It's just about shedding a layer off of yourself, and that layer is who you are not. It's about losing a version of yourself that is with you all the time, and it's the worst version of yourself. And the hardest part about all of it, it's not the hustle, it's not working, it's the silence and the self-doubt. It's the little voice in your head that's saying you're never gonna make it. I've heard it in my head more times than I can count, but I keep doing it anyway. And some people say that's the definition of doing something insane, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. It felt like every single day was a struggle to just do the next thing. It felt like every single second I was thinking of giving up on my journey. But there was a little nagging feeling in the back of my mind that helped me keep going. And what that is, I'll never know. It could be divine intervention. It could just be my mind knowing that in the future, my life will be 10 times better. And sort of through those processes, some things that have helped me are, of course, I've said in past videos, journaling, meditating, going to the gym. And even though I've never done it, it's helped for other people going to therapy. So if you're watching this and you feel stuck, I want you to know that you're not alone, and I was you not too long ago. If you feel too small, too behind, and too invisible, I felt that too. But here's the good part. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be hungry. Be obsessed with your own growth. Treat your life like it's the most important project you'll ever work on, because it is. I'm still not where I want to be in life, but I'm getting closer to it every single day. And now I want to pass that energy on to you. You don't need motivation, you need action, you need faith, and you need to start building today. This is the art of becoming, of shaping something through struggle, of building life out of pieces that no one else believes in. Your life isn't a blueprint, it's a mural. Let it be messy, let it be bold, and let it be yours. And one day in the far future, when people ask you, how did you do it all? You'll smile back and say, I started. I want to thank you all for watching this Art of Becoming video, and I want to take a moment to mention that I'm giving away 3 free mentorship calls to the first 3 people who fill out my form in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this video again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.